Okay, so when it comes to the teaching philosophy, one of the reasons why we spend some time on it in AO is because it is a core foundation of who you are in as your educator practice. Whether you're actively teaching or whether you're supporting teachers, our philosophy is part of it guides our everyday action. Um, for this, for AO, you folks are going to be doing a ho'ike at the end. This is a demonstration time. This is a way to just kind of reflect and share your reflection with your peers. And your teaching philosophy will be one of the things that you are going to be sharing. So that's why we wanted to get you guys started on the process. And Colette and I were talking about when we first started, nobody told us what a teaching philosophy was, and we just kind of flew by the seat of our pants. But it's it's actually really kind of fun to sit down and think about what's important to me and to articulate that. So that's kind of like the process that we're going to go through today. Okay. Um, so before we start, I'm going to just have you folks think real quickly to say, what do you think is a teaching philosophy, or why do you think it's important? So go ahead and take a moment, put something in the chat. Doesn't have to be like long or profound. Just what do you think is a teaching philosophy, and why do you think it's important?
Without Googling.
Without, yeah.
Hey, hard to tell you teach college students. Yeah, you know all the tricks.
Yes, that's their Google and now ChatGPT, OMG.
I heard someone actually said in a committee interview, the person was googling. They could hear them on the, and I'm like, oh, putting. At least get a silent, keyboard if you're gonna do that. So, all right, okay. And when you're ready, just go ahead and let's put it in our chat now. So, what do you think is a teacher philosophy? Why do you think it's important? Guiding principles, how you teach, and what you do on a daily basis. Very good, Kels. I think a teaching philosophy is a foundation through which our work as teachers come through and stand upon. Very good. It can be a map to help you figure out which direction to head towards. Absolutely. Good job, you guys. Mm. See, you don't even need this workshop. You guys already know that it's important. You guys are doing great.
And just looking at the three that's already there, it's funny because I was telling Erin, I just made a really quick cheat sheet for this to kind of get you started. And all three of these guiding principles, like foundations of your work, looking towards the future, um, and the why of teaching. Yeah, all of that is in that tip sheet. So you're right, Cornelia.
Yay,
Could
good
maybe
job,
skip this one part.
everybody. Oh, Jade, great. A way of expressing why and how I teach. I think it's critical because it acts as a guiding star, absolutely, to come back to no matter what the material audience is. Absolutely. And personal ideals to teach by. Very good, Jolie. All right, so let's go ahead and kind of get into uncovering your teaching philosophy. Okay, and I call it uncovering because it already exists within you. Your values, your backgrounds, your experiences, they're already in there. We just got to uncover it and see what do I really like take that time to see, okay, what do I really believe in and how does it impact my daily work and what I do. So today's going to be a little bit all about reflecting. If you want, you can go to the go.hawaii.edu baby Y big D small X. Yeah, and you can follow along in the presentation, or you can use this QR code if you want to. Otherwise, I'm still going to keep it here for on our shared screen. All right. Moving forward. Okay, so what is a philosophy? So the quite literally the term philosophy means love of wisdom, and I love that. Philosophy is the activity that people undertake when they seek to understand fundamental truths about themselves and the world in which they live and how we connect and how we relate to all of that. So again, it's a fundamental truth about who we are and how we connect. And so I really love that. And that's what teaching and learning is, right? Teaching and learning is a giving of ourselves and how we connect with the material, how we how help our students to connect with each other, and how they also connect with us. It's all how we've been talking about, how Kalea has been teaching about. It's all about building community and building pilina. So, just to give you a couple samples, and the thing is, teaching philosophies are very individual, so they look very different just depending on where you're coming from and what you find important to you. So I got permission from some of these people to share theirs. So, like Ashley, she is a professor in psychology. And her overarching theme is her commitment to being student centered, meeting students where they're at, giving them tools, addressing social inequities, right? So those are like a three pillars of what she believes is her teaching philosophy. Andrea Herndon, she's no longer here. She moved back to the continent, but she was a math professor here. And so her philosophy talks about how students are unique individuals, and then she talks about a few key ideas that she has in her philosophy is educators should guide the students, educators should discourage using solely rote memorization, right? So again, because of her discipline, she doesn't want them to memorize. She wants critical thinking, and an educator should help students discover their potential. Yeah. So that was hers. Kalei Ruiz, who you folks will meet later today, if you are in a faculty position. So Kalei is going to be doing the contract renewal. Kalei grounds his values in our Native Hawaiian values, right? And his teaching philosophy is grounded in aloha, kuleana, malama, and kulia ikanu'u. For myself, I grounded my teaching philosophy. So you guys know I like acronyms, yeah, and stuff. But at the same time, I pretty much like everything of who I am is based on my upbringing, and it's grounded in my family values. It's grounded in my parents, and so I wrote a portion that was the core beliefs that I grew up with. Education was very important in our family, and I was always taught that education is for everyone. It's a key to self-improvement. Education is about community. It's a sense of safety and security is fundamental in education, and education is always about giving back. As you rise, you uplift everyone with you as much as possible. This is never something that you do in a silo. And then again, as a counselor and instructor, my role was to help people see, and that those were my guiding principles. So everything I did, from my primary duties to my service to my professional development to my leadership stuff, was always able to be linked back to my core philosophy. And then our amazing Kalea also shared her philosophy. Kalea, do you want to talk a little bit about yours?
Sure. I actually was asked this question in my interview was what is your teaching philosophy? And while I haven't at the time hadn't thought about it in that way, I've always grounded everything I do in this Olelo no Eo, which is Aole Pauka Ike Kahalo Ho'okahi. It's actually comes from hula, a hula Olelo no Eo, and with the understanding that you can learn various hula from various kumu and that there is no one right way of doing it. And so I always try to tie that into my teaching, with also the idea that our students come to us with so much background knowledge, so much lived experience, so much ike. And so rather than thinking of them as empty vessels that we're going to fill up with knowledge, I see them as this wealth of resources. And then what can I build upon through their skills? So my three pillars, or my three core principles, were very teaching and learning experiences. I also backed each one up with an Olelo no Eo. I can't remember at the time what varied teaching and learning experiences was, but the other one was bridging theory and practice. So in a lot of our courses, we're preparing students for the real world, and in my case, teaching. But I wanted to give them real world experiences. So we did things like go to classrooms or invite schools over. And that one was Makahana Kaike.
Mm.
and then model behaviors of an effective educator. I always wanted to make sure that in class I showed them specific teaching strategies. I used them in my teaching, and then I was very explicit about the strategies I used towards the end of class. Similar to what we do in this cohort with the teacher toolkit, we don't always get to explicitly share those strategies, but I'll always update that and keep it in your Google site. So those three things were very important to me, that acknowledging our students as knowledgeable people when they come into our class, regardless of whether they've ever taken a college course. They come to us with their family values, their kupuna, their wisdom, and that we are just adding to all of the great things that they come to us and provide respectful environment to acknowledge all of those things that they bring with us.
Mhm. That's beautiful. That's perfect. Yeah, when we talk about Kuma, right, we talk about Kuma as being the source, right? And so in many ways, like our students, our Homana, they, in those situations, no one knows them better than they know themselves. No one knows how they learn best. So in some ways, they are also the Kuma. And I think that's why, the term of A'o and the teaching and learning and that exchange and that relationship of that exchange, it's so important. And yeah, Hawaiians are so smart with their olelo. So I love that. Thank you so much, Kalea. Okay, so I'm gonna actually stop sharing because and then I'm gonna share again because I gotta when you share you gotta make sure like the volume and stuff, share sound and optimize. Okay, so I'm gonna share. Hi Helena, welcome. Okay, so this is a video that I'm going to play, and this kind of sets us up to talk a little bit about what is our why. Are you guys still here? I can't see anybody anymore.
Erin, do you happen to have the link to that video? Because remember, like last year, there's a black box that's covering part of the slide.
Oh, is there still a black box? Okay.
If you open it in a separate window outside of the Google slide, it might show up better.
Okay. Wait. Let me try to see if I can move the box. Oh.
How do I know?
Yeah, we can't see his face.
Okay, how about now?
We can see part of his head. Oh, there we go.
Can you see now?
Yeah, now it's good.
Okay, all right, okay. And then
No, a lot of people when they think of the phrase "how do I know?"
Can you guys hear it?
How do I know? A lot of people when they think of the phrase "how do I know?" they always want to put the what behind it. How do I know what I'm supposed to do? The question that you really should ask is, how do I know why I'm here? Because when you know your why, your what becomes more clear and more impactful. If you know, like for instance, people know that I do comedy, but that's what I do. My why is to inspire people to walk in purpose. So I can do comedy, I can write books, I can be in a movie, because all of it is motivated by my why. In fact, I have a new web series out called Michael Jr. Break Time. We probably just did the 6th episode. It's on YouTube. So every single Wednesday at 3 o'clock, we drop a new episode on YouTube of Michael Jr. Break Time. What it is it's me. I travel around the country and I do stand-up comedy, in case you didn't know. And in the middle of my comedy set sometime, I'll stop and just talk to my audience. And we've been filming this, and it's pretty cool. So we're in Winston-Salem. I'm gonna show you a clip from Winston-Salem. And I'm just talking to this guy in the audience, and he tells me that he's a musical instructor at a school. So I was like, all right, you're a musical instructor, can you sing? Let me hear you sing a song. So this is what happened at the last episode of Michael Jr.'s Break Time. Check it. So you're a musical director? Cool.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let me get a couple bars of like Amazing Grace. Can you do the first part of that? Go ahead.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Wow. That bro could sing. You know what I'm saying? All right. Now, once you give me the version, is if your uncle just got out of jail, you got shot in the back when you was a kid. I'm just saying, let me see the hood version real quick, if you know which version I'm talking about. Just see if that exists. Let me see what you got.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Was blind, but now I see.
Okay. Here's what I want you to catch. The first time I asked him to sing, he knew what he was doing. The second time, he knew why he was doing it. When you know your why, your what becomes more impactful because you're walking towards or in your purpose.
Okay, I'm gonna try and share one more time because I can't see anybody now. So I'm gonna try and see if I can share. Okay, I still can't see you folks, but that's okay. Okay, so just holler if you have any questions, but I'm just gonna keep going.
That video gets me every time, Erin.
I know, I was trying not to cry, but
That made me tear up.
I did too. Again, I did.
Because, and it's so true, right? And the thing is, teaching is such a passionate, personal profession, and so knowing our why, it's, and teaching is hard, right? So sometimes being able to connect back to our why is so important on those days that we're like, why am I doing this, right? Like, why am I even here? Policies don't make sense, and pay isn't good enough, and I'm working all these extra hours and stuff. Why? And the students, they're working my last nerve sometimes, and even though I love them, right? So going back to our why is important, and that's why your teaching philosophy is also important. Oh, wait. Okay, hello, having problems. Okay, so what we're gonna do at this point is we're gonna have some time to do some free write. Okay, so what I want you to do is to get a piece of paper and pencil or pen. Not writing on the computer, write on paper and pen. Let's do it that way. Okay, and what I want you to do is for 5 minutes. Keep your pen on the paper, so don't even lift it. Just keep your pen on the paper, and I want you to start thinking about what is your own origin story, okay? So you're going to choose one or two of these topics that are listed here. One, you're either going to write about an influential experience or write about a time that you had an inspiring or frustrating experience, because both of these can serve as a catalyst. So an inspiring or frustrating experience with your subject, your discipline, the area that you're teaching or being an educator in, or as a student yourself, okay? So you can choose that one. The second one you can choose is a mentor influence. Write about a mentor or a colleague that influenced your path specifically as an educator, okay? And the third one is focused on student feedback. So write about any feedback from students or colleagues that have shaped how you feel about teaching. Okay? So we're going to give you 5 minutes. So get your paper, get your pencil or pen. We'll do 5 minutes, and again, just keep writing. Okay? And go, and we'll stop you in about 5 minutes. Okay. All right, that's been 5 minutes. Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna put you guys into breakout rooms. So I'm gonna have 3 and 3. So go ahead. I'm gonna open up the rooms and just take a few moments to just kind of share a little bit about your origin story with your peers. Okay, and then we'll give you maybe about, let's see, like 10 minutes. Yeah, so everyone gets a chance to go. Okay, I'm gonna open the rooms now. See you back in 10 minutes, and we'll broadcast messages to you as well. Helena, you know where to go? Are you not assigned? Oh, there. Okay.
how to leave.
I was gonna say, is there a leave the room button? I always press the. That's why I always get worried, like when I'm hosting, because I have cut off meetings, like because I leave the Zoom instead, you know, and so it cancels everything. How is the sharing going? Okay.
It was really good. I wish I could have both
Good.
rooms.
Very, very good. They should be coming back in. Boy, time's going by fast. It's already 9:45.
I know. What the thing starts at 10, yeah?
Mhm.
Okay.
We'll finish right at 10. Uh, welcome back. Welcome back. Mahalo everybody for sharing your origin story, your mo'olelo. So very happy for you guys to do that. Okay, so we're gonna move on. Okay, so we looked a little bit into ourselves. The next thing we need to do is look into our students and who they are. Now, in the interest of time, I'm not going to play this video, but I have a 2-minute video that's linked to this presentation. It's a tutorial on how to access our student demographic data. That's something that you're going to be including in your documents, like how many how many students identify as male, identify as female, how many are Native Hawaiian, and so forth. And yeah, and we'll put this presentation in our AO module for you, but I highly recommend. I just looked at it again today. I did the video back in 2023, but the information is still the same. So you go to our research office, institutional research office website, and then you'll be able to break down the demographics of our students, okay? But let's kind of reflect on our students too. So we're going to do another 5-minute free write. And what I want you to do again is pen to paper. Don't lift it from the paper. You're going to do a 5-minute free write. You're going to choose one or two of the topics below. So one of it's going to be, who are your students? Describe your students. And how does this impact the beginnings of your philosophy? How do your students learn? What do they need in your classrooms? And how does this impact your philosophy? And the third one is, what do you think they think? What are the preconceived biases that they have about your course or your college, or college in general, right? So what are their preconceived notions about if you're a math professor, right? Or if you're an English professor, right? Or a culinary arts instructor, right? And how does this impact your philosophy? Okay, so 5 minutes. Let's do a free write, and here we go. Okay, in the interest of time, let's go ahead and put pencils down, pens down. Okay, so what I want you to do now is I want you to review your free writes. Okay, take a look at what you did and reflect on what is important to you as an educator. So when you're looking at your free writes, are there any themes that are emerging? Can you see any core values that are coming out of it, or any personal truths that you see? So go ahead, let's do this for about 3 minutes. Just scan your free writes and just start to bullet point and write a couple of themes, core beliefs, or truths that are starting to stand out for you. As you start to think about your themes, your beliefs, or any truths, go ahead and write one of them into the chat. One revelation that you've come to. Excellent. I I love this. So, Kelsey, talking about identity, knowing or learning who you are and where you come from. It's important for all our students. And, yes, they come to college to learn a skill or to get a degree, but for many of us, college is a time that we step into our own and we find ourselves. And if we can help our students with that, that's great. Love that, Kels. Ha'oli Hiva Hiva, Hawaii is Hawaiian, advocating for Hawaiian people's histories and truths. Excellent. Love that. Chicken skin. All right. Let's see. Jade, every student, everyone is a writer. Love that, Jade. Right. And just bringing that out in them, right? And Jolie, the importance of hands-on learning. Perfect, right? That totally matches with your discipline. And Helena, engagement, community validation, care, support, kindness, and empathy. Love that. Terrific. And Jolie, opportunities for success, learning, developing, and experience. Wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone. So you can see how this is kind of starting to form the beginnings of your philosophy, what you believe in, and how you can express it. Now, things that also help you when you're developing a philosophy, sometimes I've seen this, is that people will also reference or they'll cite theories that they ground their philosophy in. Counselors tend to do this a lot. Teacher ed does this a lot. So sometimes you can find like constructivist theories or reality therapy theories, and that can also align with what your values are, and so you can also put that as part of almost like the introduction to your philosophy. This is a grounding principle, from this journal article, this theory or whatever, and then build from there. You don't have to do it, but some people do that as well for their philosophies. Now, once you start developing, so obviously we're not going to create our philosophy in this time period that we have, but this is to get you folks starting to think about it. And as you go between now and the end of our AO program, you don't have to have a fully fleshed out teaching philosophy, but start to put something together because you will be presenting it to the group at our last meeting on October 31st. So go take some time. You can go through these exercises again and really start teasing out those themes so that you can see what's important to you and what's important and what you know of your students, and then you can weave that together for your philosophy. Now, once you do have your philosophy, then you're going to figure out, okay, now what do I do with it, right? Think about the ways in which you're already living that philosophy. Start to jot down, this is what I do in my classes that support this pillar of my philosophy. This is what I do in my community service work that supports my belief in this philosophy. So start looking at what you already do, because chances are you are already doing things that are supporting the philosophy that you come up with. Start to put together evidence and artifacts, your assignments, your student interactions. If a student says, wow, Chef Kelsey really helped me to figure out who I am as a student in college and that I belong, hey, that aligns perfectly with his value of, creating student identity. So start to find evidence that supports your philosophy. And then draft. So keep doing that for your philosophy. It's going to be your guide. It's going to be your pillar. It's going to, whenever you're not really sure, should I take on this new assignment or not, go back to your philosophy. Does it support your philosophy? Does it feed you? Does it give you joy? If it does, then that kind of helps you to manage what kinds of additional responsibilities you take. So at the end of the day, you guys got this. Very good. Any questions about teaching philosophy? You're feeling pretty good? All right. So you guys, mahalo. You guys will have access to this presentation so you can continue to work on it. It is 9:59. Kalea, is there anything you want to say before we let them go?
I think that the